Recording is in progress. We are back in black, in orange for the Giants celebrating a well-deserved victory, one of the rare ones in the last week or so, but they're still clinging to that second place wild card position. 2 games behind the Phillies that they open up a 3-game series tonight, 1 game, half a game ahead of those surging Cubs. So this is a daily deeper dive podcast. Yours truly, Daryl Snyder and Brandon Abbey. Took a couple days off. We did post the blog charts, but we had Hurricane and then Tropical Storm Emily to dance around. So we were preparing for what was a lot of wind and rain. Pretty much escaped any serious damage, some limbs down, some partial roads washed away, but I don't believe there was any serious injuries that I've heard of in our area. Not sure. Was there?
A lot of rain. No, I haven't heard of any injuries so far, but I was just going to let you know that August 21st is my mother's 96th birthday. So we'll be celebrating with her later tonight.
That is awesome. Congratulations. My grandmother has since passed, but I had a beer with her on her 100th birthday. So that's a true story.
That's pretty cool.
I'm not saying alcohol is a major influence on all of our lives, but you can see it has been handed down through some pretty great traditions of drinking beers. My dad's doing great at 86, going to be 87 here soon, and still sips on a martini now and then, chews on a dirty olive, celebrates those handed down traditions. So I don't know if it's part of the German and Italian combination of where our ancestors were drinking a little vino, and whether that be vodka in Germany or I don't know what it is, but we've adapted quite well. So seems to mix well with sports.
We will have a celebratory martini tonight.
There you go. That's awesome. Well, this is the Daily Deeper Dive podcast in conjunction with one of our partners, Ballpark Pal. He provides for us 5 daily charts that we post for free to the Fantasy Sports Logic blog. He's also one of the 7 player projection providing partners inside the Contrarian Edge Optimizer that we've got a little surprise for you viewers today. I think it's a nice little 8-game slate on the main slate. Their Giants are playing a little early. Might be some 3:40 Pacific, which would be 6:40 that aren't on the main, but this covers all the games. Home run report, daily fantasy report, starting pitcher preview, the weather with a new guide there, and how the daily stadiums play out with the weather this time of the year. So we're going to jump right in to Monday, August 21st. Not surprisingly, the Giants held Olsen to like 1 for 15, I think. They held him down. They should have taken 2 out of 3. Not to harp on the Giants. They had a lead late in that second game of the series, and there was a home run hit that devastated the emotions of most Giants fan late in that game, and Giants dropped it. But they bounced back yesterday, Brandon. I said it's the first time that the announcers can ever remember where the team, the Braves, tied the game without a hit in the bottom of the 8th, and then the Giants took the lead back without a hit. They did the ground attack, 2 walks, a hit batter, 2 strikeouts, and then a walk. They parlayed that into the winning run, and then Camille Duvall came in. He blew the save, and it wasn't really his fault. Acuna was on second. He walked Acuna and walked somebody else, and then Acuna attempted to steal third against Patrick Bailey, who's one of the better rookie catchers, and Bailey was so amped up he launched it down the left field line, and Acuna scored, and then the ball got out of it and then ended up getting the win. So there's your Giants recap for Sunday. Everything you probably didn't want to know about the Giants, but you're going to hear it anyway. Because
How are they looking for the wild card spot?
how is what?
How are the Giants looking for the wild card spot?
They are they're hanging in there. 2 behind the Phillies for the top spot, who they played today. 1 ahead of those surging Cubs. So surprisingly, we've been on a bit of a tailspin. We have 2 starters, and then every game other than the 2 starters, which is Webb and Cobb, and Webb pitched that game Saturday that they blew for him. But they're bringing up Kyle Harrison, their number 1 prospect in the pipeline, a lefty. He just turned 22. Excited about that. Tomorrow we'll be talking about him. He's got a 35% strikeout rate in the minors. So probably some people will look at tomorrow. Shouldn't be too high priced. We'll see what DraftKings does with him. But number 1 projected. Whoop, go ahead.
No, that's interesting. This is a pretty important series for them, isn't it, with the Phillies? Because Phillies are in that wild card spot as well.
Yeah, they played well. You got Schwarber and Harper and Realmuto. Got a nice team there, some good pitchers. That's the Braves, though. Braves are starting to get some injury problems. Harris, the young guy, he was out yesterday. They got Albies on the list, as we talked about. So I know they're deep. They're going to be tested. Looks like they got a couple of guys projected 25 and 24 today. What do you see there?
Oh, what do I see? I like the matchup that Seager has. I think that one looks. If I was going to pick one out of those top 5, I'd go with Seager for a home run tonight.
At Arizona, yeah. The air is always a little lighter there in feedback territory.
Did you see if they got hit by the storm or no? I know Las Vegas got it pretty good.
It went more. Palm Springs got it. And thank goodness. We were looking to maybe go there to get out of it. We would have been right in the middle of it. So that they got hit pretty good with rain. But no, I think that far east was clear. It did go up into the Reno, Vegas area, and it's continuing to follow the jet stream now. But yeah, they're pretty safe, and they've got the roof there. They close it this time of the year when the temperatures hover 110, 115. I like Seager as well against Slade Stacani. Probably not doing it justice, but that's how I pronounce that name. Luis Robert for the White Sox against the Fireballer Castillo for Seattle, and then DJ Stewart against Winans of the Braves. Stewart is a Met, I believe. I can read that logo. Other players to pop: Wilmer, who had a nice series against those Braves. He actually hit the home run that put him ahead before the Braves tied it. Tyro Estrada, he got a couple of Giants. Love to see it. Tyro, though, watched that. He got hit on the hand yesterday again, late in that game, and they were taking him in for an MRI. I haven't read this morning to see how it was, but he may not play because of that. He just had come back from an injury and they hit him again. I was wrong. It was a walk, 2 hits batsmen, and a walk. That was their rallying cry in the 9th. So Tyro took one on the hand, and they said after the game he was experiencing some pain. So got another Matt Vogelback. We got a couple of Mets sticking out. And that to pop the red in Matt McLean playing. Looks like they're in Anaheim to play. The Angels, I think the Giants go back and play those Reds again. And then Pablo Reyes with a boost of 91%. He could be a sleeper. Look at that bottom section there for him.
Yeah.
Christian Javier of the Astros, you got a nice matchup for Reyes. Going to the DFS report. Aaron does a nice job here. 3 of the top players by position, except pitchers and outfielders. He'll give us 9. What do you see there, Brandon, as your eyes shift to the pitchers?
Oh, Nola, I think is going to
No,
be.
bite your tongue. Bite your tongue. Who are they playing?
Are they playing the Giants?
And it's probably a good pick. The Giants still strike out at a tremendous rate. So I do want you to remember, though, there are a couple Giants on the hot sheet. But go ahead, go with Nola. I'll let you. We'll see how it goes tomorrow.
Yeah, we can talk about that tomorrow. No, I think Nola's a good. He's going to get. I don't know what's the average, seven strikeouts, something like that. He'll probably go at least 5 innings, maybe.
I'm hoping 1 1/3.
Well, we'll see.
This is a lesson. You can't follow your heart, even though I bleed black and orange. Nola's probably projected against those Giants to although Fried for Atlanta, he was projected to pop, and he's a lefty. So Nola's a righty. Giants, it's no secret. They are striking out at an astronomical pace. So that's a good one. You got Waka coming back. I think his second start for the Padres.
I did just check on Nola, and he's averaging 5.9 innings and almost 8 strikeouts a game. So he is the highest rated pitcher from that standpoint today.
He's a good play. I was just messing with you.
That's okay. I mean, Alexander, he averages 1.5 innings, so we'll see what happens.
Giolito, the pitcher the Angels picked up at the trade deadline. He's up there in the top 3. Outfield, no surprise, Acuna. Chuck Harris's availability. He was out yesterday. Not sure if that was what that was, but definitely he's projected. You see the green is DraftKings fantasy points projected. The blue is for FanDuel. We got a Tiger in green at number 3. Rodriguez, who's been on a tear for Seattle. I think he set a record for most hits 17 hits it was crazy in his last 4 or 5 games, but young superstar for Seattle. A couple of Pirates, Swawinski, tough lefty against righties, and then their all-star Brian Reynolds. Back on this side, Braves, even with the injury, you got Olsen, Riley, Murphy, Ozuna, and Acuna. So there's your 5 gas house gangers. If you're going to do a 5 Braves stack today, even minus Harris, if he plays, you choose between the 6, but they are solid. The favored team, I'm sure, by far to take it all from the National League side. What else sticks out? I see another Pirate, Hayes. Bobby Witt Jr., he's there almost every day. Seager, that you like, the number 1 at shortstop. So
yeah,
will be interesting. We'll see what else the charts have to say. Here's the starting pitcher preview, report card style. Last 1,000 pitches here in the middle of the favored pitch by the pitchers. Nola, we're going to have to sit on his slider. Sit on that D-graded slider.
Yeah.
As Brandon said, almost 8 strikeouts, knuckle curve, A+, 4-seam fastball. He throws those 2 pitches 60% of the time. So you got to wait on that slider. But if it hangs, send it into orbit. Just a little tip for Kapler to pass along to his hitting coaches that need all the tips they can get these days. I was listening to the after game, when you have to rally with 2 hit batters and 2 walks to score the win, you're still not quite on par with where your hitting should be. I don't think the players want to get hit and walked to win a lot of games. So what else sticks out there in the pitching charts? I see a 7.4 projected.
What kind of sticks out is there's more yellow and orange on there than we usually see, and quite a bit of red. So not as much green as I'm used to seeing there.
Yeah, I see it. I mean, just a couple. You got Nola, obviously, minus that D, but you got Paxton with a nice AA, or maybe A minus B. You got Javier with an A plus A B. Ashcraft from the Reds could be a nice play. Anaheim, you got to maneuver your way around Ohtani. Did you see Ohtani on any of the charts? He's usually always there.
No,
Wonder if he's
no, I didn't. Wonder if he's playing today.
yeah, wonder if he's on the DL or slightly injured. He's normally always there. If you've got Ohtani minus that lineup, I definitely would take a flyer or two on Ashcraft, Reds pitcher. And they're not in Cincinnati, which is where you don't want to be if you're pitching. That's Brandon Belt yesterday, a couple of home runs, that right field porch. I remember me joking I could hit it out with a wiffle ball to right field, left-handed. Yesterday might have been one of those days. Belt had a big day. Toronto was a stack. Unfortunately, I kind of like Green on the other side coming back, the fireballer. And those visions of him performing well were dashed in about the second inning. I think he took the hook and he only gave up 10 runs, I think. So a little bit on the opposite side. Afterwards, I go, well, how could I have not played Toronto in that stadium? But it's easier afterwards. But yeah, I see what you see. Even Waka, who I was kind of looking at, not so good. He can't throw the change more than 30% of the time. So D minus, D minus. So against those Marlins led by Shake, Rattle, and Roll. Johnny Cueto. You'd like to watch him pitch? He exercises his hips more than any pitcher in the league before he actually shimmies it in. There's your Diamondback guy facing Seager. Looks like those a 4-seam fastball that hits a lot of bats, 54% of the time with D plus. Slider average, and he only throws the cutter, which he should try to look like should add a little more into his repertoire. 0.8, but it grades out with a B plus. So it could be those Rangers looking pretty popular. I think I even saw Garcia somewhere, which is in the middle of their order. Yeah, he's oh no, that's the Royal one. Thought maybe it was the Ranger one. Oh, there he is over here. So you've got Seager and Garcia and Seaman. Definitely a Ranger type stack possibility against Sassani or Kakani, or however you pronounce that Italian's name. Here's recently added, Brandon, the guide to the charts when we were trying to figure out what pink meant. All of a sudden we started to see some pink. You see these sunshines, different colors. I don't think you'll see any blue today below 55. See a lot of yellow, orange, and bright red. The wind bars, single bar 5 to 9, double bar 10 to 14, triple bar 15 plus, and then barometric pressures and humidity. Pink meaning possibility of delays or postponement. They double-headed up on Saturday, so they avoided anything yesterday, which was a great move for Dodgers, Anaheim, and Padres, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you see there?
I was going to say that the Chargers did play yesterday. They, of course, that SoFi Stadium is enclosed or kind of enclosed. But I wonder what the traffic was like getting in and out of there with all that rain.
I couldn't imagine. We had friends that flew back from Hawaii that drove back, and they luckily landed at 10 yesterday morning and got back just before all that started. But yeah, later in the afternoon, I would imagine it was pretty wet. Plus, they had that earthquake in Ojai, 5.1. Was it? So yesterday, it was a hurricane turned into a tropical storm. There was a tornado warning that flashed across the board, and there was an earthquake. Other than that, it was just typical day in San Diego. Oh, I forgot flash flood watches and warnings. It was,
How
but
was the surf down there?
that was the what?
The surf. Were the waves up yesterday?
I'm not sure what you're saying. The what?
Surf, the waves.
No, surprisingly. I mean, there was some white caps, but again, this, not to go deep into weather, but when you have a tropical storm like that, it was warmer, and it tends to, because it stayed to the east, the winds come a little bit different. They didn't have any surge in this, because it had hit down, I think, Cabo area. So we've had winter storms that come in that literally wipe out piers and you get huge surfs, right? This wasn't that. So because it was more inland, I think it helped to keep that. They closed the beaches, but more from the debris. That was kind of thrown all over. But yeah, PNC Park in Pittsburgh looks like a warm day there, a little bit of a boost. Truett Park in Atlanta, little boost, not a lot in home runs. Nothing really sticking out. White Sox looks like it's so neutral with a 15% home run boost, but down about that in doubles and triples. Anaheim, where we like there's Texas. I said Texas is playing.
They're in Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona. Okay, yeah. There's Arizona. You got a little bit of doubles and triples, neutral on home runs. But then
yeah, not much there today. I don't I wouldn't make any choices based on what we see there.
definitely kind of just an average. You don't have that Cincinnati Park and Philadelphia. Surprise, where's that at? That Giants game, Citizens Park. The wind blowing in. That gives Giants a little bit of an advantage against Schwarber and company. 13% home run boost and pretty neutral. The rest of the way.
Yeah.
We've got about 10 minutes to go. Exciting news from Fantasy Sports Logic. If you haven't heard, just in the next couple weeks, it will remain available. Nice promo with drafters. We have a $699.97 package. We call it our VIP promo. See up there's the link. If you go to Fantasy Sports Logic, it'll pop up. Give you a little bit more detail, but it includes, while they remain available, 10 $20 entries into the drafters $2 million NFL best ball style contest with $300,000 first place up for grabs. And you'll also receive a $100 deposit credit at drafters. And that package, you'll receive a lifetime subscription to the Contrarian Edge Optimizer, baseball, football, basketball, PGA. As we add them, one price, all sports included. As a bonus, you'll play in tournaments at no extra cost with prize packages as a part of the promo. Also participate in, you'll see more information coming out through Sportstopia. You see them there. That's our version of a media articles and videos daily across MLB, NFL, PGA, NBA, some poker mixed in. We've got exciting poker announcements and other breaking news. You'll get access to premium content there for free as a part. Got a movie coming out, so you'll get access to pay-per-view at a discount, maybe even free red carpet premieres. They participated in 20% of our royalty royalty program. There you go, a little ring to it. You start to see some more details about that as Sportstopia content becomes live as early as the end of the week. Got meetings progressing, really cool things happening. Ed Williams, former head of NBCSports.com, Roto World, has put together an amazing team, diverse experts. Fuel your fantasy fire, and also your sports wagering where legal information. Excited about that. So it's a great price. Not going to be there for very much longer because the NFL season is rapidly approaching. Speaking of, Brandon, I showed you this. It's been updated. Going to rerun this. People have been asking. This is the first version with one of our what will be 6-player projection partners. Tonight's slate, I'm not sure how accurate it is. Looks like it could be close. It's for the showdown. DraftKings, the Ravens, and what are they? The Commanders now? I almost said Redskins, like I almost say Indians. The Commanders. It's hard after all those years thinking of Joe Theismann at the helm of the Commanders, or John Riggins or Mark Rippon, who I've had the opportunity to meet. Actually sang karaoke with Mark. I let his voice do most of the singing because mine was very disruptive. But we did some Bachman Turner Overdrive. He's a Canadian, and Randy Bachman with his background. Anyways, we could go on and on about that. But anyways, it is the Commanders facing the Ravens tonight. You'll see, doesn't look like many starters are there that you'd recognize. Sam Howell is priced the highest with Anthony Brown in the captain's position and flex. I don't know. I might probably get the itch and throw something. I haven't watched an exhibition game. I'm not sure if I'll even watch this one, but if I play a team, not sure what the different contests are, throw a dime or a quarter or 50 cents or something at the game just to see if I can root for the backups.
Yeah.
So, although I don't know if Sam Howell's considered to be a backup or a starter, I'm gonna let all that be delivered to us through our Sportstopia team. But so there's a little peek. People have been asking, and I opened up the optimizer this morning, and there it is. Soon you will see something similar to this. MLB. There's that turbo slate with Bailey coming back in, my dog, who's a big fan of the turbo slate, as you can tell. There's NOLA on top. But let's go to that main slate. See what's happening. I think it's a nice little 8 game. You can see, you saw that we had stats perform or sports data IO. Eventually it'll be just like this. 6 of these 7 Ballpark Pal is a baseball only, so they won't be there. But FTN data, RotoWire, Sport Radar, Sports Data IO, Stats Perform, in our proprietary secret soft blend of the 7. Brandon, you're getting to be a whiz. How'd you do yesterday on your using the optimizer in baseball?
Oh, I won a little money yesterday, and yeah, I played a few stacks, and they turned out well for me. I let the optimizer do its thing, and then
Do you have any disclaimers to add in there, even though you kind of broke the bank on what?
Well, when you use the optimizer, it's just, for entertainment purposes only. We're not guaranteeing you're going to win anything. And I also I played a little DraftKings. I had some golf and won a little bit there. I had Hovland, and I had Rory, and I had who else did I have? But Hovland, he shot a 61 to finish the tournament. Just an unbelievable round of golf. So
that's BMW.
It was fun to watch. But it's all everything's for entertainment purposes, and we hope you enjoy the optimizer.
Was it the
Uh,
BMW, the FedEx?
it was, yeah, it was the second round of the FedEx. So we have the final round. The top 30 are going on to play for the big prize this week.
Yeah, we're
So,
going to be adding golf. That's one of Brandon's favorite sports. So I saw something about the controversy of Koepka making the Ryder Cup, but I think he didn't get the automatic qualify, did he? Did he fall out of the sixth spot or something? What was that
well,
all
those
about?
guys, yeah, those guys that went to live, they lost their status, or to be able to earn Ryder Cup points. So we'll see if any of those guys get to be a captain's pick. But tomorrow is the date that book comes out on the Gambler, which is going to be an interesting read. And there've been a lot of pre-published things that talk about Phil Mickelson, which I think will be very interesting.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about it. He sent me an article and wow, some of those things. I mean, they're talking he may have wagered as much as $1 billion over the last several years, huh? That's
Yeah, but he only lost, according to what I've read, he only lost 100 million.
Liv took care of that for him. I said, what do you need? And
Yeah.
right, scratched him a check and said, we'll put you back to the beginning. And who knows? He says he's addressed, he knows he has some issues there and he's addressing them, but we'll leave Phil to comment on that. But real quickly, there's a lot of things you can do here. It shows you the top projected players by position. Pitchers obviously are very important. You've got over 100 years of combined experience and projections. You got a proprietary blend. You can contrarian mode on off. We leave it on. Stack attack mode we just added yesterday, as happens almost every time. Not 100%. 5 stack. Those Blue Jays got on green coming off the DL early. Brandon Belt a couple of homers. 5 Blue Jays would have put you in a nice position. You had to maneuver the pitching. A lot of the top pitchers, including Scherzer, didn't perform. So some of the mid-range guys. What's that noise in the background? You can lock players. You can let it do its thing. We talked about who we liked, who we didn't like. I kind of looked at Ashcraft, 8,500. This is important. I was on a call. There's a group, Brandon, won't announce it yet. Pretty large group of fantasy sports players and information that love this ownership, right? Super important. These are our projections. You want to try to get different. Yesterday, playing the Blue Jays was different. Acuna, you can see there half the field's going to probably be on him. So you can be different than half the field, right? If you go and you don't play him and you pivot to somebody else, pitching wise, Castilla, I mean, people like to go to those strikeouts, but again, 45% owned. So you might look at different people and try to get, Tuiki Toussaint, a White Sox pitcher against Seattle that tends to strike out quite a bit at 9% ownership. If you happen to play him, you're 91% of the field, so ahead of it. Oh, anyways, I only have a couple minutes. I got to jump, but you can go auto 5. This gives you the stack attack. You'll see it appear. It defaults to off. You want to turn it on after this is happening, which figuring in the background, 8-game slate, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of potential possibilities of letting it stack 5. I could have faded a team if I said I don't want anybody from Anaheim. If Otani's not there, I could totally take them out of the picture to super condense. I need to let Brandon tell what his strategy, and he's the one that's been mastering it lately. So how do you look at these things?
Well, I usually look at I'll go look at the over under projections in who's pitching, and then I'll pick a stack, usually of 4 or 5, and then I'll let the stack attack go after it. And it's interesting. I mean, it gives you an unbelievable amount of diversity. But if there's something that I really like, I'll take the stack attack off and just stack it myself and see what comes up. And take. I'm not the guy that's doing 150 lineups. I'm doing a 5 to 10 set of lineups, and maybe being a little bit more conservative than a lot of the folks out there. And it paid off this weekend.
Yeah, that's
So,
important. I mean, it's capable of 150 max for those that want to play, whether you play the 50-cent dollar or $3, which is popular. It's 100,000 prize pool, 10,000 on top tonight. But look at the diversity. It's what Brandon, I didn't trade anybody. What sticks out to me, Toussaint Waka, combination Blackburn against Kansas City, the A's, he's performed well lately. Castilla the highest, but everything's a little different, right? So we talked about. I was on a call earlier this morning with someone that's been around a long time in the industry, and he's got the theory I have. I just would like to get one. If I'm going to play a 150 max, just give me one opportunity to get to as close to the top, right? I don't care if my other 149 don't do anything, and that's what it does. It allows you to get variation. I'm going to show you where we at. Yeah, it updated, so we're good there.
yeah.
For example,
Look under stats perform. Otani's in there.
is he? Oh, yeah, there he is. Yeah. So that changes my opinion on totally, unless I could call the coach ahead of time and just say walk him, don't let him hit. I doubt if I can have any effect on that. I hit 150. I love what it's doing here. Going to show you as it's figuring it out for you. 100% max exposure, but the auto is going to get a little different. So we'll see how different, right? Look at this.
Boy, you've been making payments to the hamsters, it looks like. They're getting things out there pretty quickly. Look at all those stacks.
It's doing exactly what 8 months ago we set it out to do. Look at the diversity, right? You've got in 150 games, you got 10 Braves stack, 10 Rangers stack, 10 Diamondbacks, 10 Padres, 8 Reds, 10 Mariners, 10 Astros, right? So normally what happens if like yesterday, right? Toronto went out and scored 13 runs against the Reds in a ballpark conducive for runs, but they weren't as owned as you would have thought because you had Green coming back, who's one of the aces, and Beauty used this. I was out, and this is what happens. I was out thinking the optimizer, thinking, Green's gonna go lights out. He had 3 minor league rehab sessions, struck out a lot of guys, and I have to learn, even as part of this, that the optimizer is telling me things I should pay attention to. If I'd have listened to it, I could have had 10 Toronto stacks in there and probably been a part of the upper side like Brandon was. But this is beautiful. And then what it does, X that out and say, well, I want to see what I have. There's what you have. I mean, you can go through this like Brandon, he can look at all this, and if he wants to stack 5 in smaller slates, do you still stack that many, Brandon, or what's your strategy?
I usually stack 4 or 5.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah. So there you go. You can see that there's not anything exactly the same. Peterson Falter, Peterson Blackburn, Montgomery Peterson. Again, you can lock in, or you can let it do its thing and let it get diverse. I mean, do 150, you want to make sure you edit. In CSV into DraftKings, you can go into their lineup, make sure all the players are playing. Sometimes it'll pick out some players that think it's going to start. We're hours ahead of the lineups that have been submitted. We've got what we think where they'll bat. This changes depending on, like I say, yesterday, There were a couple of guys, Giant, Estrada, but he's not on the main slate. Some guys get dinged up or they just take a day off on a Monday following the weekend, but a lot of diversity. Love it. I've got to jump, Brandon. I'm a few minutes late. Anything you want to add in closing?
No, no, just everybody have some fun and have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, I just want to tell people you can test drive this optimizer, $1, 7 days. No commitments. If you like what you see, which we know you'll love it, $29.97 a month, or one-time lifetime all the sports, $299.97. And then you have that promo going on that we talked about earlier. So thank you. I agree with you. Wishing everyone an amazingly awesome, super spectacular, and most importantly, prosperous Monday. We'll see you tomorrow.